What is going on, guys? How are you all doing? This is Zix here of Magna Crypto, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I wanted to cover something that I picked up from one of my favorite crypto investors, and that's Nicholas Mertens at Datadash. And the thing that I picked up and what will be topic of this video is this thing called pairs. In technical analysis, you can have something called trading pairs. We have, for example, ETH BTC, and you compare that to something like ADA BTC. So what you're doing is you're comparing the performance of ADA versus BTC in the market compared to the performance of ETH compared to BTC. So you're seeing how they're doing and historically how they've done. And then you can actually see trends within these comparisons. So you can see that ADA did pretty well up until this point, but it keeps rejecting after that. So very interesting thing that he showed me, well, not personally, but in this YouTube video, of which I'll put a link in the description, which I want to show you in this video, and just look at the patterns from what I've seen from that. Before we get to that, just a bit of housekeeping. If you haven't already done so, obviously please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also if you want to learn, if you're a beginner to crypto and you want to learn about the market, the tools that you need to get started in investing in the market, I've made a course, and the link to that is also in the description. With all of that out of the way, let's get started on the video. So in the total market cap of the altcoin, so this is minus Bitcoin, you can see that there was a bit of a symmetrical triangle going on here. So you've got some bounces in between these 2 points and then a breakout, although not with a lot of volume. So this is width quite high, but we have broken out nonetheless. So we can finish for the week above this. So outside this pattern, that would be a very bullish indication. In the total market cap, there isn't much of a pattern. I mean, this was a bit of a stretch. There was clear resistance here, and potentially on the daily time frame it's more clear. But yeah, we can see more clearly that we have broken above this resistance area and retested it. So it'll be very important to use this as support now and carry on going higher. But if that is that going to happen? Let's find out in due course. But very bullish nonetheless to have had this massive rally, retraced, and then continued. Very bullish. Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin before we go on to the pairings. So Bitcoin, obviously we had the massive retrace or the massive correction. We formed a low below 10.5, just below that, wicked to about 9.7, created a nice swing low. Then we made a higher high, we made a higher low, very bullish. We broke past that and we've gone on a massive rally since then. So this is very bullish. What I would hope to see now is a retest of a resistance level, maybe 11 to 12k. Or even just to form a higher high or higher low from this point onwards. That's what I'm looking at. So we can actually consolidate these gains. That's what we'll be looking for. With that out of the way, I'm not going to do the other Bitcoins. Otherwise this video will get too long. So let's get started. So again, all credit goes to Nicholas. That's where I got it from. And I'll put the link to that video in the description. So let's look at some of my favorite picks. We've got band. So as I said, the way you would actually write it is, so you would put in the ticker symbol, or to actually get it on your chart, you put in the ticker symbol like band BTC. So you're always comparing it to BTC, and then you would compare it to ETH BTC. So again, you're comparing like the performance of ETH versus BTC. So that's one comparison, one pairing. And then you're comparing it to band's performance against BTC in the market. And so that's how you would type it. And you'd pick the chart with the most volume, right? So with ETH BTC, the most volume is in Bitstamp. So now you've got that. And with Band, it's Binance. So that's how it looks. Enter, and that's what you get. So I was actually on Band link before. So you can see its performance against BTC has been pretty good since Feb this year. Massive rally, retracement, hit this trend line, a huge rally again, hit some resistance, and has gone down since then. So now we're coming up to this trend line again. If it stays true to the trend line, it will bounce from this and potentially go on a rally. So it's potentially looking like, if you look at the pattern and its performance against BTC, that it will potentially go on a rally very soon. If, looking at this chart, you can see the patterns quite clearly. So that's very interesting from Band. Now let's look at ADA. So this was quite interesting. Again, this was mentioned in Nicholas Mertens' video. You can see every time it hit this resistance level, it just plummeted. Every time it hit, plummeted. So that's definitely a point we'll be looking for when it goes on to its next rally. Another thing mentioned was, again, I don't want to take credit because he actually mentioned this in this video. You can see that it's now made a higher high, which is a very positive sign. It hasn't done that in a little while. So if we can continue this, then ADA is going to be performing quite well in the market in comparison to ETH. So next we're going to look at some of my other picks. So this is FTT from the FTX derivative exchange, their main token. You can see that there's been a very strong counter trend line or resistance that it's not been able to break past, but it has gone on a massive rally this year from August. So if we are able to break past this resistance, then I think or this long-term resistance, then we could really have a chance of going on a nice rally. And the next points of resistance would probably be these levels over here. So it could be doing quite well if it breaks past this long-term resistance. So you start to understand when you look at the performances, kind of time frame when roughly they can start going on a run. So it's another really good tool to use in technical analysis. Now we have Fetch. So fetch.ai. So it's gone on two relatively large rallies, or one mini and one large. And again, we have a strong counter trend line. Every time it's hit this level, it's plummeted. So the next rally it goes on, I'll be looking at this long-term resistance. In terms of its performance at the moment, it's obviously doing quite bad, absolutely plummeting. But if you look on it on the daily time frame, this could be setting up for a breakout soon, right? So this is looking a bit of like a falling dagger, or a falling wedge. So if it can break out of this pattern, then I think it'll be bullish. It could potentially go on a rally. So I'll be looking at that for Fetch, but it definitely needs to find a bottom soon. That's what we'll be looking at for this pairing. Moving on to Ocean. So Ocean's performance, you can see it's had quite a lot of so you could say like channels in its price history, and every time it broke out of this, it went on a bit of a rally. So now it's in what looks like a falling channel or downwards channel, I don't know the exact terminology for this one, but it's looking like it's about to break out. So if it does break out, which is what I'm waiting for, then we could potentially go on a run. So I don't know about you, but a pattern that I'm seeing at the moment is some of these cryptos look like they're about to break out on a run very soon. So for me, it does look like DeFi and the DeFi space and altcoins in general are gearing up for an upwards rally, which could go in line with kind of BTC having obviously a strong rally at the moment, which normally happens first before altcoins tend to follow. That's what I'm seeing in the market at the moment. So it looks like DeFi. I'm looking at DeFi at the moment, but it looks like it's about to explode. And now we have AGI, Singularity Net. So again, you can see the falling wedge chart pattern in much clearer. So you can see this, price obviously plummeting, and once it broke out, there was another little retest. It went on a massive rally, right? So that's what I'm seeing in, was it FTT or Fetch? On the daily. So potentially it could be like that. But apart from that, when it comes to Singularity Net, I'm looking for a reversal before kind of becoming bullish on this coin again. So it's not looking bullish like the other coins. If we can make a nice higher low, then obviously that'll be a strong indication, but then I'll be looking at kind of continuing to rise and then breaking past this level before I become bullish on this crypto. So I mean, that's all I wanted to talk about in this breakdown today. I'll be implementing this TA tool when you have pairings and you're comparing it to its performance with ETH BTC. Very, very useful tool. Again, I'll put the link for the full video to Datadash video in the description. But to summarize, apart from using the tool, it does look like DeFi is gearing up for an explosion very soon. So get ready for it. So that'll be all for this video. Hope you got some value from that, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.